Well, it's no surprise terror has taken center stage in this election as Islamic radicalization continues to launch deadly attacks all around the world. Just today, we saw another attack, this one on the American University in Kabul. Right now, at least one person is dead. More than a dozen have been injured. Meanwhile, the fight against Islamic extremism facing another hurdle after the UN warned that ongoing Iraqi-led American-backed efforts to retake Mosul from the Islamic State could result in monumental increases in refugees. Iraqi forces are closing in on that ISIS stronghold, and some experts are actually wondering if this could be one of those October surprises that helps to shake the election. With me now to help break it all down, Captain Chuck Nash and Steve Rogers. Captain Nash, the timing of Mosul going down late October would be fortuitous for Hillary Clinton. What are your thoughts on that? And also, today we saw America helping Turkey, providing air cover for Turkey going into Syria. So a lot of developments in the Middle East.
Yeah, there are some developments, and the Mosul thing has been brewing for some time. The Iraqi forces and the Iraqi government have not really put a timetable on when they're going to do it. It's just that Mosul was going to be next. As you know, they took Ramadi, Fallujah, and now they're about 40 miles from the outskirts of Mosul. And Charles, Mosul was the second largest city in Iraq. It is the largest city that ISIS still controls. So when that fighting starts, you're going to have now about 500,000 to a million people left in there as human shields that ISIS is going to use. And we think there are about 10,000 fighters in there, and the good guys are going to mount about an 80,000 man force to take it.
So, I mean, we're talking then, Steve Rogers, serious collateral damage, maybe a preview of how we would have to fight and win in Raqqa and other places.
Charles, not only a serious humanitarian crisis, but the October surprise might be on us. Look, you've got the Sunnis very, very upset that the Shiite militias are now going to be fighting, who are backed by Iran, by the way, and Iran backed by Russia. And we're in the midst of all this, ironically, helping support the Shias and others to overtake Mosul. It's always the aftermath. Does anybody realize what's going to happen the day after? And that's something we really have to be concerned about.
Captain Ash, on that point, we know how to win these wars. They've been sort of easy, so to speak. It's been winning the peace and maintaining it so we can get the hell out of there. That's been a conundrum.
It has been. And to Steve's point, one of the things that some of the original planning that I've heard about is they're going to use the Peshmerga to kind of put a dome over the north part of the city, and they're going to use the Shiite forces, about 15,000 of the Shiite militia in Nineveh province, but not take an active direct part in the retaking of Mosul proper for exactly the point that Steve's making, which is the Sunni people are more concerned about the atrocities committed by these Shiite militias than they are about ISIS.
On that note, and again, you know, we saw Erdogan spending time with Vladimir Putin recently. I don't know if we call it a bromance, but they've come a long way since that Turkish plane shot down a Russian plane. How's this going to play out? We're providing cover. They're fighting ISIS. The enemy of my enemy is my enemy, and we're trying to figure it all out. Everyone's saying as long as the focus is on ISIS, nothing else matters for now. Is that the right way to look at it, Captain Ash?
Well, I think at this point, what really has to happen, and we've talked about this before, Charles, is it's uncomfortable, but until we make a deal with the Russians on how this is really going to come about, the rest of it is just nibbling around the edges. That the Turks are involved, the Turks are more concerned about the Kurds, the Americans are more concerned about ISIS, and the Russians are more concerned about propping up the Assad regime. So at this point, you've got way too many cooks in the kitchen until the United States and the Russians can figure out and cut a deal on how this is going to come out and what kind of political outcome there's going to be. It's just going to be confusion.
Gentlemen, thank you both very much. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Up next has been 20